This is the DJI Pocket 4 and its family. This product line is a hit. The last model, Pocket 3, sold over 10 million units in just 2 years. That makes it one of the best-selling cameras in recent memory. But honestly, its success confuses me. We already have a pretty good camera in our pockets, so why would anyone buy a pocket camera? When it comes to image quality, phones already have 1-inch sensors, 4K, even 8K. They have multiple lenses, and they can shoot RAW for more editing room. When it comes to price, the starting price of $519 is not cheap, and at one point even went up to $799. And today, we finally have its next generation. Is this a legend continued, or a one-hit wonder? Let's test it to find out. First, the look. The Pocket 4's camera and gimbal appear identical to Pocket 3's, but the body is a little taller. The color changed from Pocket 3's black to gray. The SD card slot on the side is now covered, and the grip area on the front has wider texture spacing. The best part, it still fits Pocket 3's accessories. But if you don't put them side by side, you really can't tell which one is new. Even side by side, I can barely tell. The easiest way to tell them apart is the back. The Pocket 4 has 4 magnetic contact points, which let you attach a small fill light. It connects directly to the body, actually pretty cute. But beyond the look, Pocket 4 does bring some new things. Below the screen are 2 new buttons. One is for zoom. You can quickly get a closer look. The other is customizable, and by default, it works as a shutter button for photos. The body has 107GB of built-in storage. At 4K 60fps, you can record over 2 hours of video. The case, I could never remember how to use, has been replaced by a simple clip-on cover. With a carrying bag, it's quite easy to take out. It also now supports Wi-Fi 6, so transferring videos to your phone is faster. These small improvements together make the product nicer to use. But the biggest upgrade is the sensor. The old 9.4 megapixel 1-inch sensor is now replaced by a brand new 37 megapixel sensor of the same size. In the new 10-bit D-Log mode, the dynamic range reaches 14 stops. So how does the image quality actually look? For our sample footage, we used 3 cameras: Pocket 3, Pocket 4, and the iPhone 17 Pro. Since the iPhone's main camera is 28mm, it captures a narrower frame than either Pocket, so we won't compare sharpness, we'll just show the difference in style. First, color comparison. In bright outdoor lights, the Pocket 4 compared to the Pocket 3 shifts skin tones from reddish to more fair and bright, with an overall lighter look. The iPhone, as usual, goes for a true-to-life look. The overall dynamic range is compressed quite flat, and faces are not as bright as on the Pocket 4. Indoors, the Pocket 4's advantage in dynamic range becomes clearer. The Pocket 3 struggles with the heavy contrast between inside and outside. The sky through the window is completely blown out. The iPhone managed to hold all the detail outside the window, but the skin tones have that very classic apple yellow look. By comparison, the Pocket 4 skin tones look brighter, though the bright areas outside the window are not as well controlled as the iPhone. At night, the Pocket 4 also shows clear improvement. Compared to the Pocket 3's color shift and noise in low light, the Pocket 4 holds more detail in both bright and dark areas, and the overall image is clearer. Compared to the iPhone, the most obvious difference is still white balance. The iPhone tends to look warm and yellow straight out of the camera. The Pocket 4 runs cooler and also brightens and smooth skin. Which one do you like? But if you switch to iPhone's ultra-wide lens, the gap in image cleanness becomes pretty big. The iPhone shows a lot more noise. This brand new 37 megapixel sensor does deliver something special. Now, smartphone cameras have always had one thing over the Pocket, a multi-lens system that covers more focal length. The Pocket 4 solution is pixel binning. It uses the center portion of that 37 megapixel sensor to deliver 2 times lossless zoom. The generous way to put it, even in zoom mode, the Pocket 4 still has enough pixels to produce a true 4K image. It also supports 2x zoom while recording in 4K, and you can use it at the same time as subject tracking, D-Log, and other features. Much more useful than before. The less generous way to put it, the 2x zoom is still a digital crop. All I can say is I'm hoping the rumored dual-lens version of the Pocket can push things further. Another area with a big upgrade: photos. When Pocket 3 launched, I never expected so many people using it for photos. On the Pocket 4, the new Super Photo brings the photo resolution from 9.6 megapixels all the way up to 37 megapixels. You can see that in Pocket 4 photos, the noise in the dark areas is much reduced. Skin tones looks healthier and more natural. The overall color is more saturated and vivid compared to the iPhone's more true-to-life approach. Pocket 4 photos look more lively and have a light smoothing effect built in. I wonder which style you prefer. The Live Photos feature from Pocket 3 can now also be played back directly on the camera itself. For the downside, Super Photo and Live Photos still can be used at the same time, and Super Photo doesn't support manual shutter control either, so it's still a step behind a true camera in that way. That said, the custom button can be set to single click, double click, or triple click shortcuts. My choice, double click to capture slow motion footage at 4K 240 FPS. But with slow motion mode on, there is a slight crop to the frame, and lossless zoom is not available. It's best treated as a creative shot option rather than an everyday tool. To wrap up image quality, the Pocket 4 is a complete upgrade over the Pocket 3 across the board. The higher resolution sensor brings noticeably better sharpness. Full-featured D-Log gives the Pocket 4 a wider dynamic range and more room to edit. A newer processor and better algorithms mean better low-light performance, making it useful in more situations. Compared to the iPhone, the most obvious difference isn't really the technical specs, it's the color tuning DJI has built in, especially for skin tones. But can a pleasing color look alone really carry a whole product? Hold on, it still has that gimbal, right? DJI defines it not just as a stabilization system, but as a smart assistant that can recognize, track, and focus on your subject. Phones relying only on electronic stabilization still can pull off the kind of smooth, wide-range movement shots you get here. And the Pocket has one more special advantage in low light. Thanks to the gimbal stabilization, you can get far less motion blur and stuttering during handheld night shots compared to the phone. And don't forget, this gimbal can flip at any moment for a selfie. That solves one of the biggest problems with phone selfies. You always have to choose between the better rear camera you can't see and the front camera that gives up quality. In this selfie test, you can see the Pocket 4 not only has a wider field of view that makes the face look slimmer, it also has no over-sharpening from algorithms, and the background blur is much more natural. On Pocket 4, DJI has added a new Add Subject feature. Once you scan in the face and turn on Face Auto Detect, both the gimbal and the focus will stay locked onto your subject, making it less likely to lose the subject in crowded scenes. Alright, let's go back to the question we started with. You already have a phone in your pocket, why buy a pocket camera? Looking at the product itself, the Pocket 4's answer is gimbal stabilization, a specific color style, and the ability to just pick it up and shoot. It does offer a little more feel and a little more freedom than a phone, but that answer alone doesn't explain its explosive sales. Sony's best-selling camera of the past decade, the A7 III, just barely crossed 1 million units. DJI's Pocket 3 has already sold over 10 million. There must be factors beyond the product itself. Let's look back at how Pocket 3 became a massive hit. Step 1. As short-form video and vlogs took off, more and more people started recording their daily lives, travels, and routines. That kind of content has a very specific needs. Lightweight, ready to shoot instantly, and just a little better looking than a phone. The Pocket hit all of those perfectly. It's small, simple to use, gives that nice background blur, and makes it easy to get footage that just looks good. So more and more creators start using it as their main camera. That meant beautiful pocket footage and the product itself kept showing up in people's feeds. And the kind of scenes people like. A quiet morning at a cafe, a busy weekend market, and those shots of oceans, forest, desert, and snowy mountains. Step 2. Slowly, the audience started connecting the travel life with this tool. And people kept scrolling smooth vlogs. They would start linking all that ease, beauty, freedom, and adventure to the most visible object in those videos, the Pocket 3. Gradually, it stopped being just a tool and became a symbol of a certain way of life. Its audience shifted from people who make videos to people who want to travel, a group many times larger. Why didn't a traditional camera become that symbol? Because it's too heavy, too hard to learn, too intimidating. It's hard to picture someone effortlessly recording their life with a big camera. I think this is also part of why Fuji and Ricoh GR has gotten so popular in recent years. So why did Pocket 3 blow up? It landed right in the heart of the short video algorithm. Creators used it to film those relaxed, beautiful, free-feeling moments. And as those clips kept appearing in people's feeds, people slowly linked the Pocket to the whole way of living. So when it was time for a trip, they thought of buying a Pocket. Adding a small size, simple control, and a friendly price. And all those things stacked up into one of the biggest product hits of our time. Can Pocket 4 match the Pocket 3's glory? Probably not. Pocket 3's success came after 10 years of DJI building this product line. and everything aligned perfectly at just the right moment. That kind of chance is rare. But honestly, what does that have to do with us? No matter what image the brand or the internet has given this thing, the Pocket is just a useful, pocketable tool for people who like to capture their lives. Because the moment someone picks it up, they're never thinking about 2 million units sold. They're just trying to capture themselves, living in the moment.